Hello everyone. So, for my birthday, Nintendo released a Nintendo Switch Direct for the Switch 2. I'm gonna briefly give my thoughts with really crappy camera angles because I can't hold my phone steady to save my life. My apologies for that if it gives you motion sickness. The new Mario Kart game looks great. I am super excited for that. The open world is kind of crazy. And there was a crazy cast of characters too. Like I saw a Cataquack driving from Mario Sunshine. It looks like there's going to be a lot of variety in that game. Kirby's Air Ride is probably my biggest hype. Sorry, I got an email. Kirby's Air Ride was probably my biggest hype from the Direct. I'm super excited for that. I love Kirby Air Ride. Sometimes I worry when they bring an old game back like that the like modern Nintendo-fy it. And by that I mean like they make it super extra kid friendly and make it like baby easy and dumb it down a little bit. But it's being directed by Sakurai again, so my hopes are very high and I am super excited. That's probably my biggest excitement from the Direct, is that Kirby Air Ride. It does mean Smash is probably at least a year or two out, but Kirby Air Ride, I'm very hyped about that. That was one of my favorite games that I used to play with my younger sister in back in the early 2000s. The Donkey Kong game, let's go over first party stuff first. The Donkey Kong game I'm apprehensive about. That one does, speaking of modern Nintendoification, that one kind of gives that vibe to me. I've been hyped for a new Donkey Kong Country game since Tropical Freeze. I've been waiting for one, and this was a bit of a letdown. It seems like there's going to be some 2D sections in it, but it's not all focused on that. A new Donkey Kong 3D platformer is cool, but it looks like it's like the style is a little weird to me. It's more of like a beat 'em up type game, like more action based, kind of like I don't want to draw bad comparisons, but it reminds me a little bit of like Wario World. Like it's not nearly as beat 'em up as that, where there's enemies spawning everywhere, but it like is like focused more on action than platforming. We'll see how it is. I'm glad they're doing a Nintendo Treehouse Live presentation on it so we can kind of see gameplay, a little bit more gameplay, and see how it feels. That's one that I might almost want to play a demo for before I commit to buying it, because it all depends on how it feels in my hands. I don't know if it'll be that fun to play. I'm a little apprehensive because of the Peach game that I beat in 100% beat in one sitting, blind with no help. I'm a little worried about that Donkey Kong game being too easy and it being like really like meant to be specifically only for children, which I don't have a problem with, but it's like I want to know if like I am going to enjoy playing it, like I'm gonna get some enjoyment out of playing it. Kind of backing up, Nintendo GameCube I saw coming a mile away. What I am hyped about for that is they're starting with some low-key games, Soul Calibur 2, F-Zero, and Wind Waker, with Mario Sunshine coming on the horizon. But it seems like they're really focusing on bringing games back that are really hard to get your hands on now. Like they right away showed Path of Radiance, a $300 game on eBay, Pokemon XD, a $250 plus game on eBay, Pokemon Coliseum, a $250 plus game on eBay, Chibi Robo, which is another rare game that I can't put a quantifiable amount on because I haven't looked before. I'm super excited for that because those are games that I've always wanted to try, but couldn't get my hands on because they're so ungodly expensive. One that I really hope they bring eventually. The only downside with the GameCube is they've remastered so many now. They've remastered Pikmin 1 and 2, so they probably aren't going to put that one on there. They've remastered Metroid Prime, so they probably aren't going to put that on there, at least for a couple years. But one that I really hope they do bring is Four Swords Adventures. That's one that is like one of the most expensive games to actually fully experience, because for the original, you needed the GameCube in the game, obviously. Plus you needed 4 Game Boy Advance link cables and 4 Game Boy Advance systems, because in order to play multiplayer, you had to have all of the Game Boy Advance systems hooked up to your GameCube because it fully was integrated with that. So I hope they find a way to bring that to the Nintendo GameCube Online. I'm also hyped for online GameCube Mario Party. That is going to be hype. They didn't bring Smash to the N64, but I could totally foresee them bringing Melee into the Nintendo Switch Online eventually. I could see that happening, but we'll see. When they were showing off the game chat feature, I was a little apprehensive when I saw that there was an obviously upscaled version of Mario Party Jamboree, and I was like, I really hope they're not just going back to re-releasing games. I didn't keep this a secret. I really did not like that the Switch was so focused on re-releasing Wii U games with minimal additional content. I didn't like that a lot of resources were taken up by that motion. But what I was happy with is that they switched. So there's some Switch games that will be upgraded for the Switch 2. But if you already have the game, you can pay for that additional content separately, which I really like. I feel like they maybe didn't announce a price point because I feel like it might be fluid. Like some games like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom that aren't adding a lot might be cheaper than something like Kirby and the Forgotten Land that's adding an entire additional story. Like I hope they're flexible like that, but we'll see. I'm thinking probably about $20 for those additional packs. I'm hoping that's what it sits at. Speaking of Zelda, they did show that Age of whatever it's called, this Age of Calamity, but for Tears of the Kingdom. I'm probably not going to get that. My girlfriend is really excited about that, but I am not probably going to be getting it because I wasn't nearly as invested in the story of Tears of the Kingdom as I was in Breath of the Wild. And I really wanted a prequel to Breath of the Wild, and I thought that was a really cool idea, so I got Age of Calamity. I probably won't get the new one. I was really hoping for a Xenoblade Chronicles Warriors, because that's been rumored for a bit, or at least talked about. I don't know if it's specifically rumored, but people have been talking about it like it's a good idea, so I was hoping for that, but not yet. I feel like Xenoblade is big enough and there's enough characters between the three games, and they've already crossed over with the DLC for 3 that Xenoblade Chronicles Warriors would be super cool, but not yet. Legends ZA, the little bit that they showed looked really good in the Switch 2. I'm excited for that, and I'm excited for Metroid Prime 4 being fully integrated with the Switch 2 as was expected. The third-party support looks crazy. They start off by showing Elden Ring, which feels like just like we can put Elden Ring on this system sort of deal. It's like, I don't see many people buying Elden Ring at this point in time for the Switch as opposed to any other system, unless there's someone who's a Nintendo gamer that really wants Elden Ring, but I feel like that doesn't cross over a lot. And I will say the Direct was really laggy, so it could have been the Direct, but some of those third-party games, the frame rate looked like it was suffering in the trailer, but the frame rate of the Direct itself was suffering, so I'd have to see it gameplay to know if the frame rate is actually that bad in real time. What is interesting, and what is the biggest shock for me, is the fact that From Software is making an exclusive for the Nintendo Switch 2, which is crazy to me. That is hype. They don't make games that are very much my style. I don't really care too much for Dark Souls or Elden Ring, those darker, grittier games, so I probably won't get it. At first I thought it was Bloodborne 2, and I was like, of all places to show Bloodborne 2, they choose the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal Direct, but it was not Bloodborne 2, it's something entirely separate. But that's really hype that they're putting a not first party, but a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive from FromSoft. That's incredible. But it seems like this system is already bringing third-party developers back. They lost a lot from the Wii U era and that they still haven't really recovered from, and it seems like a lot of developers are being brought back because I feel like the mouse feature is super interesting and can add that is legitimately like a Nintendo innovation that can be used in games like Civilization 7, where like it's so much better to play that on the computer, but now you can use a mouse on the Switch. I feel like that's a really cool addition. The release date surprised me. I thought it was going to be a holiday fall release. I'm surprised it's coming out in 2 months. It's crazy that June is only 2 months away. They didn't reveal a price point in the trailer, but I'm hearing 450, which isn't terrible. And that's still like, I'm not positive that that's correct. I think it's 450 maybe with just the Switch 2 and 500 with the Mario Kart bundle, but I could be off base on that. Information is still kind of coming out because that didn't get directly said in the presentation. But yeah, I'm super hyped for the Switch 2. Mostly hyped for Kirby Air Ride. I think it's really humorous that of the 3 first-party games that they showed in this direct, 2 of them were racing games, but Kirby Air Ride is probably my biggest hype. And I am excited about the fact that instead of just porting games over, they're letting you buy an additional like upgrade pack to upgrade previous Switch games. I think that's really cool. One thing that I thought was interesting is that there is no Smash Ultimate upgrade pack. And that's a game that I think could be improved by a frame rate buff, but they chose not to. So maybe there is another Smash on the horizon. I mean, I'm sure there will be, but again, Sakurai is busy with Kirby Air Riders. So we will see about that. But I think they showed everything they needed to. I've seen people that are disappointed about the direct, but really, I felt like people way blew it out of proportion. And as usual, Nintendo fans thought that they were going to reveal some like 20 games. Like that's an over exaggeration, but I saw people with like lists 10 games long of things that they were expecting, like GTA 6, a new 3D Mario, Kid Icarus Uprising remastered, Ocarina of Time remastered, Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War remastered, Smash Bros, like all this laundry list of games that they thought were going to get revealed. And this is about what I expected from the direct, like mostly focus on the hardware itself with a few games sprinkled in. And one game that I was interested in is the fact that they are bringing Final Fantasy VII remake to the Switch before it comes to the Xbox. I don't think it's on the Xbox, if I'm not mistaken, but I thought that was kind of funny. But anyways, that's about all I have to say with my thoughts on the Switch 2. I'm excited. I definitely will be buying it launch day. We'll be buying Mario Kart with it. And I am excited about the new Kirby Air Ride game. But with that, I'll catch you later. Peace out.